Good morning again. This is Anthony Wallace from PCDI Healthcare and Consultants, Part 2 of our study as um, Food Safety Manager. I want to start back on botulism. Botulism is a spore. It comes from canned goods, produce, and packaged goods. So be careful. It loves oxygen. That's why when food is packaged, when you know that there's botulism in the package, is because it was swelled. So that's how you know not to even use it because it may contain botulism. There's nothing to kill it. You have to get rid of it. Okay. Um, the number one reason for people actually getting foodborne illness is improper cooling. You want to make sure that your cooling time, your cooling arch, remember, must be within the time frame. You want to make sure that if you're, for example, if you are making stew for a big convention, you want to make sure that the cooling time is within 6 hours of that arch. So you have it at 165 when you served it, and everybody has been served. You want to start to cool it. So it will go and you will start cooling it down. Within 2 hours, it should reach 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Within the fourth hour of the cooling time after 70, which is a total of 6 hours, it should be at 41 or lower to safely be used at another convention. There is another disease that is spored, and that's Bacillus cereosis. Bacillus cereosis is actually exactly what it sounds like. It comes from rice and cereal, oatmeal. So it must be cooked at 165. And again, it can protect itself against extreme heat and extreme cold. So if you notice that it has a funny taste to it, it's not good, don't eat it. The prevention is 140 and higher or 40 and below for cold foods and hot foods to prevent from catching this deadly disease. You have another disease called Jejani, which is a bacteria that hides in the body and will cause arthritis and lupus, and it is found in produce and poultry. In order to get rid of Jejani, it must be actually your foods must be registered at 165. So pretty much all through the test, everything must be cooked at 165. It's simple. There is a difference between spoilage. Spoilage is the damage to the quality of the food that you are serving. Just remember that. Also, another question that will be on your test is how to calibrate your thermometer. Your food thermometer should be calibrated daily to ensure that it actually gives the right reading, because you do not want to give uh, dangerous food to people. Um, you It's simple. You take a cup of ice water and you put it down in the ice water for a couple minutes, and it should register at 40, between 40, 35 and 40. If it doesn't, you need to either get a new thermometer or tell the supervisor that it's there. There is another disease called Hep A. Hep A actually comes from fecal matter. In other words, not to be gross, but it comes from employees that do not wash their hands when they come out of the bathroom, and they go and fix the salad for all the rest of the population in the world, causing massive outbreaks of hepatitis A and thus shutting you down. So again, please make sure that all your employees, including yourself, wash your hands. Okay. Trichinella trichinosis is actually, it comes from pork. It is killed. It is the only one that's killed at 155. Anisakis comes from bad sushi, bad fish. So, and it is killed at 145. Between these two, don't eat it. If you suspect that it's been that the food has not been properly prepared, it's best not to even eat it or serve it to anybody. There is a difference between clean and sanitary. Clean just means that the actual produce that you wash is visible from soil. It has no dirt on it. Sanitary means that the surface that you cleaned, it is clean at a 99.9% um, sterile. Um, Again, we talked about the cooling arch or the bacterial arch. It has to be 165 within 2 hours. It has to register at 70, which is the top peak, and then it goes to 40 to 41. Should be your total cooling time before you really put it in the refrigerator and store it away for safe storage. Again, everything must be labeled and dated, and it must be used within 7 days that you made it. If it's thawed out, if you had meat in the refrigerator and you thawed it out, it must be used within 7 days. All cooked food must be used within 7 days of its marking, or it must be thrown out. All dry food also must be thawed out. Okay, acceptable thawing. Unacceptable thawing is actually putting the meat in the sink and leaving it alone. You cannot do that. That is a high chance for foodborne illness because it will thaw on the outside, but it'll be hard as a brick on the inside, and you will not be able to kill the bacteria. The acceptable thawing is actually running water over the meat itself, putting it in the refrigerator, which is the cheapest way because those that are actually running restaurants, running that water will actually cause the water bill to go up. So you want to actually put it in the cooling refrigerator to thaw, okay? Or microwave the cooking, or a conventional method, stove, oven, or steam cooking. There are two acronyms that I want to actually go over with you. First in, first out, last in, last out. It's self-explanatory. The first thing you get in off the truck, the first can of tomato sauce you get in off the truck, that's the one that you would use in your sauce. The last in, last out is the one that's the oldest can of tomato sauce you would use first before you use the one that just came off the truck today. There is a difference between backflow and backsilage. Okay, backflow is a mixture of portable water, including your non-portable water. Okay, when the backflow comes in. So let's say, for instance, your portable water is what you would actually use. That's your drinking water. Your non-portable water is the sewage water that actually uh, is in the bathrooms, or the water that you use to clean the floors with. That is non-portable water. Okay. Again, cross-contamination, as I spoke um, in the first video, it is actually crossing meat with vegetables, or meat with another meat that is not acceptable. So in other words, you can't cut chicken and beef on the same cutting board. It has to be separate cutting boards. Um, or meat with vegetables. You can't do that. It has to be separate cutting boards. Now there are a few acronyms that I want to go over with you. HACCP. That's Hazardous Analysis Critical Control Point. Okay. There's biological, there's chemical, and there's physical. Biological means the diseases that we went over first, which is the spores, which is the botulism, which is the salmonella, the E. coli, The chemicals are actually the chemical agents that you use to clean. It can be that the food was actually um, contaminated by bleach or by other cleaners that you use to sanitize, and you didn't wipe it well. The physical, which is the objects, that can be the waitress picking her nails and actually it gets into the potatoes, or the metal shavings that you use to slice the meat are now in the luncheon meat for everybody to enjoy when they get home. So be careful. Okay. So the actual objects that you will clean in place is meat slicers and smooth freeze machines. Ask me, do I know what that is? No. I know what the meat slicer is. Okay, the chemical storage, for example, would be either underneath the sink or in a safe place, and you must have the MSDS sheets, material safety data sheets, updated and actually put where the um, where the chemicals are actually stored. So just in case an employee gets burned or there's a spillage on the floor, at least you will know exactly who to call and what to do to actually get it up. There is also a virus that I should have explained before, which is Hunter's. Hunter's virus actually comes from rat droppings. If you have rat droppings, you have to get an exterminator for your own safety, including the customer safety. You do not want Hunter's virus. And again, if I didn't explain it, I'm explaining it now. All shelving that you have at your store must be 6 inches off the floor or higher. This prevents from pests getting into the food. The stacking order for meats, I've seen majority of people get this wrong. The actual stacking for meats are fish, pork, ground beef, stuffed meats, and chicken. Again, that's fish, pork, ground beef, stuffed meats, and chicken. This is the conclusion of our video. I do thank you for joining me. Good luck on your exam.